It's 19 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock on this now Monday morning. Now, World Environment Day, which is celebrated every year on June 5th, encourages awareness and action for the protection of the environment and draws attention to environmental issues such as marine pollution, overpopulation and global warming. The World Environment Day 2022 global campaign, #OnlyOneEarth, calls for transformative changes to policies and choices to enable cleaner, greener and sustainable living in harmony with nature. And so to talk more about this is the Corporate Communications Specialist at the Solid Waste Management Company, or SWIMCall, Ms. Salma Ali. Ms. Ali, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us here.
Now, how important is it for us to commemorate something such as World Environment Day?
Words cannot explain how important it is, particularly because we live in the Caribbean. Oftentimes, people may think that problems like that or challenges like that, it's international or it doesn't affect us, when really and truly it does. For example, last year we had a lot of heavy rains, which resulted in flooding and, of course, landslides. All of these things are linked to climate change. And for one of the things that we need to focus on is that the temperatures are rising. A change in 1.5 degrees Celsius, it's death to us in the Caribbean. It is a threat to humanity. And once we start thinking about it like that, then we'd realize that we are responsible and we are the ones that have to take the actions to make the change.
Now, before you came on, we were actually talking about the project, the wastewater project that the minister is working on. What do you think about that project? Is it a step in the right direction?
Excellent project.
Yeah.
One of the things that we as Caribbean people tend to do is to think that everything is waste or everything is garbage, when it's not. Wastewater is actually a hidden resource, and there are many different innovative ways that we could use that water and create products from it that would eventually help us. That, for example, is an ecosystem within itself. So once you treat the wastewater properly and you put it back into the environment, it helps our environment. But we don't think of it that way. And wastewater is simply one type of waste that we could use. For example, we have organics. A lot of people will take their tree cuttings or their food peelings and they throw it away. That's compost.
Yes.
That's excellent nutrition for our plants. So things like that, once you start to rethink waste, you'd realize that it's not really waste. Our waste characterization survey actually indicated that 85% of what Trinis think is waste is not waste. It's simply a hidden resource. And by resource, we mean we can make money from it,
of course.
We could save the planet, and of course we could have a healthier population. And that's what we're talking about.
And the sad thing is we don't see it as being beneficial to us until somebody else uses it and sells it back to us.
Exactly.
And then we see the benefits of it.
An excellent example of that is organics as well. So organics waste, it generates methane, which is... Methane is responsible for 25% of the greenhouse gases. We were just talking about climate change. So the greenhouse gases actually affects climate change. But do you know what you can get from methane?
What can you get?
CNG. We could take that gas and then turn it in to gas for your cars. And that's actually one of the programs that SWIMCall has with CNG.
Nice.
So the NGC group of companies, we're working together with them to bring that product. So when we started to rethink our waste and we started to talk about recycling and waste diversion, those are the innovative ways that we can do those things. And yes, we do that here in Trinidad and Tobago.
Now I'm going to have to get you in back here to talk about that CNG partnership, but I am seeing Litterbug Charlie in the background.
Yes.
Tell me about Litterbug Charlie and what is the new initiative that SWIMCall has?
So most people remember Litterbug Charlie, particularly our parents.
Right.
And you would see Charlie and say, chase away Charlie. Charlie is not just this character. Charlie is anyone that does not care for the environment. So you're littering, you are a Charlie. You're slash and burning, you are a Charlie. So once you start to rethink your behaviors and you understand how it affects you, then you can eventually change that. And that's what SWIMCall's public awareness is about. It's all about changing the behaviors so persons are more mindful of their environment. For example, a lot of persons litter when they go to the beach.
Yeah.
So you use your plastics and your cans and those type of things. Plastics don't rot. They simply break into smaller pieces. So when the water comes and takes that away and it breaks into smaller pieces, the fish doesn't know it's plastic. They think it's food. But from the time we hit Maracas, what do?
Throw it there.
We throw it,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
we go and we buy a bacon shark
Yes,
or
yes.
bacon kingfish or something like that. So the same plastic that you didn't want next to you because it's dirty, you are now ingesting. So when we start to see Charlie all over, we're simply reminding persons, chase Charlie away. You are the person who's responsible for everything that happens. It's real easy. Wherever you're coming from or wherever you're going, there's a bin. Hold your waste until then. Like we were saying before, not everything is garbage. Plastics can be recycled. Glass can be recycled. So too aluminum and paper. And all of this is available in Trinidad and Tobago.
Now, I know in addition to Litterbug Charlie, there's also the Earth Defenders.
Yes. So we would have other characters like Folio, Garbo, and Fatapilla. They are simply here to do what I am doing, to teach Charlie, don't throw the garbage, there's something else you could do. So hopefully the next time we come, the whole gang can come and we can introduce you a little bit more. So the aim is to get persons rethinking their waste. We want to divert waste from the landfill because we're running out of space. And more importantly, why would you want to landfill resources? Doesn't make any sense to me. Makes perfect sense to do what we're doing.
Of course. Now, we were talking about, going on Maracas Beach and all the waste and stuff. And I know that Swimcall has a very, very robust, I would say, beach cleanup that they do every year. Are you going to be continuing that this year as well?
Definitely. So we are looking forward to the ICC, which is in October. But we have also taken the liberty to have a couple beach cleanups of our own. And this happens to line up with our no pollution resolution. So our CEO, Kevin Thompson, his no pollution resolution was to do as many beach cleanups as possible. And so we're following in that footstep. But we would also like persons to think about simple things that they can do to manage their waste or to not do something. For example, I see you have your coffee cup there.
Yes, I do.
That in itself is a good no pollution resolution. For example, some people would use paper cups and then throw it away after. By using this cup, you are already doing quite a number of R's. You're doing 1, refusing to use a paper cup, which adds to waste. You're not going to throw away the cup, you're going to wash it and reuse it. And because you're doing that, you're also reducing the amount of waste that you're generating. 3 R's in 1.
I'm also rethinking how I can save the environment.
Excellent. So things like that we want to do.
Yes. I love it. I mean, so I have a question though. So we're talking about the environment and we're talking about things we can do to ensure that we're environmentally friendly. But those paper straws, I mean, does it always have to be so cumbersome at times to, have to have that green footprint all the time?
Your green footprint is important. One of the things we always say, the only thing you should leave behind are your actual footprints in the sand. But if you don't like paper straws, I myself have a qualm with it because paper, you have to cut down trees to get it. However, there are aluminum straws that you simply wash out and you keep it. So there's more than one alternative to the situation. Some persons may not like aluminum, but they may want bamboo. Bamboo happens to be the largest grass in the world and is very strong and versatile. We use bamboo when we're constructing houses. That should tell you how strong it is. So there are several eco-friendly products that you can use instead of one particular product. The world is at your fingertips when it comes to waste management.
Now, I know that earlier you mentioned the partnership with CNG, but what other companies or organization has Swimcall partnered with to ensure that we get this message across?
So our slogan is your partner in defense of the environment, and that's something we take very seriously. We have been fortunate enough to partner with at least 8 regional corporations to introduce what we call the Municipal Curbside Recycling Project. So if you did not hear about it before, the same way that you can put out your general waste on a particular day, you can put out your recyclables on a particular day. The regional corporation picks it up and that goes to the recycling facility. Now, 2 things would automatically happen there. 1, you're saving the planet, but you would also notice that your general waste bag gets smaller. So you send less waste to the landfill. And yes, it is available in Trinidad and Tobago, literally outside your door. So one of the things we do at Swimcall is make recycling easy and accessible. So if you come to work, if you work for a government organization, the recycling program there is the PSRP, the Public Sector Recycling Program. If you do not work for government but you work in the private enterprise, then RAP is for you, the Workplace Waste Reduction Program.
Okay.
If you are going to school, ICARE has placed bins in schools, and the program that Swimcall has in schools is CYOP, the Community and Youth Outreach Program. Now, this program is actually entitled My Community, My Responsibility, and that's a major thing for us, because one is always linked to the other. If someone litters in St. Anne's per se and they clog up the river, Port of Spain floods. Even the person that's living in Chaguanas or Couva would be affected, because once Port of Spain has flooded, Citygate has flooded. So your transport is affected. Persons that drive cars, nobody wants to drive through that water because it affects your pocket. Once you start to rethink your waste and see how everything is linked, you'll see how these programs are easily accessible. And it is as easy as rethinking and, for example, choosing a better alternative, just like your cup.
Now, these programs, and in terms of putting out that extra waste, doesn't have to be in a certain bag, or is it that you just use the usual garbage bag, you put your recyclables in there and you put it on the curb?
It can be in any color bag except black.
Right.
Simply because we would assume that a black bag is general waste. You do not have to do anything special with the recyclables. Simply cover it back if you can cover it back, and if it can't, just rinse it out and put it in the bag. You're rinsing it out so that you don't attract vectors like flies and roaches and ants and rats. Yeah?
Right.
Just like you would do with your regular waste. So once it's not in a black plastic bag, it can be collected.
And these recyclables are things like the styrofoam cups. We're also talking about the plastic bottles, those sort of things.
Not styrofoam cups. We're actually talking about plastic bottles,
Right.
aluminum cans, Tetra Paks. Tetra Paks are your milk boxes.
Right, yes.
Because that is actually cardboard, plastic, and aluminum. That's how that product is made.
Right.
And of course, your glass bottles as well.
Great.
So all of those things can be recycled, and I promise you, once you start, it's real easy to continue with it. And you would notice, if you have to put out your waste just 3 days for a week, you may have to put out garbage 1 day for the week. Your waste generally shrinks.
Now, you said 8 municipal corporations. It's also in Tobago as well.
It is not in Tobago as yet, but we coming. Yeah, I could say that off the bat. So San Fernando was our first city to sign on. Port of Spain has also signed on to it. You could also find curbside recycling in the Tunapuna-Piarco region. We are also working with the Couva Tabaquita Paro at this point in time. We have launched in Saparia. We are everywhere. Yeah, and one of the things that we would want to do in addition to recycling is look at other types of waste that we would be able to address. For example, we spoke about organics before. Some persons may want to have a little kitchen garden. We could show you how to compost. We're also here to teach. Remember, what we want to do is to raise public awareness. So we are here to empower you, we're here to support you, we're here to guide you, we are here to partner with you. And that's what Swimcall does.
Miss Ellie, finally, I mean, anything else you want the public to know? And of course, while you're doing that, just tell us where we can go to get more information about the public campaign.
No problem. So all of our information is on our social media sites. You can check it out, Swimcall on Facebook and Swimcall_TT on Instagram. I would want everyone to pay attention to the fact that climate change is happening. That 1.5, that changes everything for us. We're a Twin Island state, completely surrounded by water. So as those water level rises, it means that there's less earth for us, there's less land for us. This year's theme, Only One Earth, I don't think we understand how severe that is. This is the only planet that can sustain life. Why would you destroy it? Why would you not nurture it? For example, you do not want your grandchildren to ask you, what's a turtle? We have so many species dying, and we're losing out on it. God has blessed us with so much. We should protect it. And because I touched on turtles, Trinidad and Tobago is one of the places where turtles come to lay their eggs. And they do this amazing thing. They hatch here, they swim the whole world, and come back here to have their babies. That's an amazing thing that turtles do without a compass, without a passport. They make their way back home. So as much as it is their home, it's our home too. So we should take care of it. Additionally, since we're talking about resources, it is indicated that through tourism, simply by persons coming to look at these turtles, we can make millions of US dollars. So oil might be finishing. There are so many other opportunities, inclusive of using the methane to generate different things, recycling, and using these resources again.
Miss Ellie, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to have you back again because this conversation is not over. But thank you so much for coming and just sharing what SwimCall has been up to, of course, and we're going to have you back sometime soon again. Thank you so much.
Definitely.
And that was Miss Selma Ellie, who is the Corporate Communications Specialist at SwimCall, just sharing some of the initiatives that SwimCall is working on to ensure that we have an earth for more generations to come. You're on the Now Morning Show. We're going to take a break and be right back. Stay with us.